promise, of course, it was kept to both of us. Both of us come from very humble beginnings, but the country was very good to us. Anna came here as a refugee from Venezuela. Why don't you tell them your story? Tell them your story.
Well, my family migrated from Venezuela in 1995, and we arrived in Quebec, in Montreal. We lived in the east end of Montreal, where my father's first job was to collect fruit and vegetables, because that was the only thing that he could do. We didn't speak the language, and education was not recognized here. And so we worked really, really hard. Eventually, my father had to work 3 jobs, but he's made it. It was a Canadian promise, and today he's a small business owner, and he lives not too far from here. And here I am, and my other brother, he's in the Canadian Air Force, and then I have a sister who's a nurse. My other brother's a contractor, and I'm standing next to the man that could be the next Prime Minister of Canada.
That's the Canadian promise right there, and it's the promise we want to restore. After the lost Liberal decade, where housing costs have doubled, food prices have skyrocketed, work no longer pays, crime, chaos, drugs and disorder overtake our once safe streets, and now the Liberals think they deserve to be elected for a 4th time. And that's really the question in this election. Do you believe that the Liberals deserve a 4th election in power? After they doubled your housing costs, doubled food bank lineups, doubled our debt, and weakened our country against the Americans? Or do you think it's time to put Canada first, with a new Conservative government that will axe taxes, build homes, lock up criminals, secure our borders, fix immigration, rebuild our forces, and stand up to Donald Trump from a position of strength? So that's the choice: a 4th term of Liberals in power, or a new Conservative government to put Canada first for a change. And that change is going to be beautiful. Today I just announced we'll be passing a 15% income tax cut for the average worker in Canada. That'll save a couple of average workers who have a family together almost $2,000. It'll make work more rewarding, and will encourage people to take that extra shift, work that extra hour, earn that extra bonus. It will allow us to allow our local workers to spend more money in businesses, who will then be able to hire yet more workers who will pay yet lower taxes. It will strengthen the growth in our economy to bring home more jobs and opportunity for all of us. It's part of my Bring It Home tax cut on work, energy, investment, and home building. We're also going to take the GST off new homes to lower the cost of buying a place. We'll incentivize municipalities to speed up permits, free up land, and cut development charges to build 15% more every single year. We're also going to axe the carbon tax. For real, the Liberals, they brought in this tax. They kept it in place for 7 years. And now they're going to hide it from the gas stations for 30 days leading up to the election, even while they keep the carbon tax law in place, which would allow them to put it back on at the pumps within mere days of winning a 4th term in power. Mr. Carney also says he wants an industrial carbon tax on our steel, aluminum, auto, fertilizer, and other heavy industries. That's something that Mr. Carney and Mr. Trump share in common. Both of them want to tax Canadian industry. Trump wants to do it with tariffs, Carney with a carbon tax. I want neither. And that's why I will axe the tax for everyone, for everything, forever, for real, for a change. We will be cutting taxes on every Canadian in this country. The income tax cut I announced today will save everybody money. Every single person who pays income tax will pay less, because we're doing it on the lowest bracket. Those at the bottom, waitresses, the baristas, people who make minimum wage, they will save in percentage terms the most, but every Canadian taxpayer will pay less and have a chance to get ahead by bringing home more. But talking about bringing home, we have to bring home our resource jobs for a change. After 10 years of Liberals blocking pipelines, mines, LNG plants, and other resources, they've driven $500 billion to the US, making us more reliant on the Americans and unable to sell our products to other countries around the world. Well, I will repeal the No New Pipelines Law, C-69, repeal the Liberal energy cap to let our oil and gas sector grow, hire, and build. I will also bring in something called shovel-ready zones, where we get all the governments to agree to provide permits for large industrial projects before we even get an application. In these areas, there will be a map that says in this zone, you can build a data center, a power plant, a pipeline, a mine, a nuclear plant, as long as it meets the specifications and standards that are required. You have your permit pre-authorized so that they can go immediately. Right now, it takes 17 years to get a permit for a mine in Canada. 17 years. In other countries, it takes about 17 months. I'm going to get it down to a year. My goal is to get it down to 6 months, but maximum a year, so that we can unlock the literally trillions of dollars of potential. We can build pipelines and LNG export plants on our coast so that we can sell our oil and gas to Europe and Asia rather than giving it to the Americans at a discount. We're going to also bring home more paychecks for our trades workers. We'll fund union training halls to train 350,000 young people in the trades with boots, not suits. Bring back the $4,000 apprenticeship grants the Liberals are taking away. We're also going to allow our brilliant immigrants to earn bigger paychecks by passing a blue seal. This will be a national professional standard for every licensed profession, so immigrants who come here can quickly take a test, prove they're qualified, and get licensed to work as doctors, nurses, architects, engineers, earning bigger paychecks, reducing wait times in our hospitals. This will be 20,000 immigrant doctors and 32,000 immigrant nurses, but it takes 7 or 8 years for them to go through all the bureaucracy, even when they're already qualified. Not because they can't do the job, but because they can't afford taking 6 years off of work without income to go through all the courses and training that they already did. When I got my eye surgery done, you might have noticed that I lost my glasses. The technician, he goes to UAE to do eye surgeries. He performs eye surgeries in UAE, but in Canada, he's only allowed to work as a technician. So apparently Emirati eyeballs are different than Canadian eyeballs. It's crazy. But if he could take a test and prove that he could do eye surgery, he'd be making $400,000 or $500,000, paying a lot of tax and fixing a lot of eyeballs. So why not do that? That takes vision. And we're going to make sure that he brings home that paycheck to safer neighborhoods. We will stop the crime. After a decade, a lost Liberal decade, soft on crime, catch and release policies have caused our streets to be overtaken by rampant reoffenders. I will repeal Liberal catch and release bail, C-75, repeal Liberal house arrest law, C-5, so prisoners can't do their sentences in their living rooms, watching Netflix or playing Grand Theft Auto. They'll be doing their sentences in prison. It will be mandatory jail time with no parole, probation, house arrest, or bail. Jail, not bail, jail, not bail, to end the crime wave. And we will ban the drugs and put money into treatment and recovery so that we can bring our loved ones home drug-free. Finally, we will rebuild our military, strengthen our borders, stop illegal border crossings with better scanners at ports, watchtowers, and 2,000 more frontline CBSA officers that can intercept drugs guns, and stolen cars. This is how we're going to reverse the lost Liberal decade and restore Canada's promise. That's the choice. Do we want the Liberals to be in power for a fourth time? Or is it time to put Canada first for a change with a new Conservative government that will axe taxes, build homes, unleash our resources, lock up criminals, secure our borders, and confront the Americans with strength to bring home our promise so that everyone who works hard gets a beautiful home on a safe street under our proud flag. Canada first. Let's bring it home. Thank you.